What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. And in this video, I'm actually going to be interviewing a friend of mine by the name of Imad Jbara. So Imad is a very successful entrepreneur in his own right. He leads and trains sales teams. He mentors high-level entrepreneurs, and he actually specializes in scaling businesses to the 7 and 8 figure range. So he's very accomplished. He's appeared on Fox News. He has a wealth of knowledge, and it's a very good conversation that we have about entrepreneurship and his journey to this point. So stay tuned. I hope you guys enjoy it, and all of his information will be linked in the description down below. So with that being said, enjoy the interview. Imad, thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. I did have to earn the interview. For those who don't know, a little bit of background. So Imad and I actually met playing soccer here in Austin, Texas. They host pickup games around the city, different courts and stuff like that. And we just happened to be there the same Saturday morning, met playing soccer. Actually, I'm curious, what was it that made you kind of reach out to me? Why did you take the time to invite me to John's party? What was that? Because that was the start to this entire relationship.
So it's funny you say that because you know how like on the app like it shows like ratings and rankings and all that stuff. So I remember I was playing with Eric and Kurt, and they were like, "Yo, we're gonna play on Saturday. Yo, this guy, he's dirty, so good. He does, you know what I mean?" And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, sure, whatever. I mean, like you're gonna play with him, you're gonna love him, you know what I mean? Like he's just dope." And I get there and I see your rating. I think at the time you had like a 4.7 or something.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh yeah, I mean, decent, cool, whatever. But that's a really good rating.
Yeah.
And then I get in there and we play against each other, and dude, you're really good. But the best part about it is you were actually also super chill. You know what I mean? You were super humble, down to earth. You just went in there, you played, you had fun, and then I think we connected at that. But we had like again, it was very like here and there, nothing crazy.
Yeah, we were definitely competing.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And then I saw you again and again, and then at that point I was like, "Yo, like, what do you do?" And then you told me you were, I think you told me you were an engineer or you were in like tech.
Yeah.
And was it Oracle?
At Oracle.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, legit." And then I connected to you and I talked to you about my friend Kurt being in Tesla.
Yeah.
And then you told me you want to be an entrepreneur. You also want to do a hedge fund. You want to do all these different things. I'm like, oh, bro, dude, we're in the same space.
Yeah.
And dude, you had the vibes were there. So I was like, yeah, no, he sounds like a cool guy. And let's see what happens if he came. But honestly, when I invited you, I didn't think you were actually gonna come to John's party. Because usually I'll give people a lot of opportunities. I like putting people in like the right place for them to like thrive.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't take up the invitations. As crazy as that sounds.
I honestly, if you had invited me maybe earlier into me moving to Austin, I probably wouldn't have showed up. But it was at a time where I had been here for maybe 5-6 months, kind of by myself, right? I mean, I had some friends, like I have my roommate now, but I didn't have a roommate at the time.
Yeah.
So I was just living there by myself, kind of not going outside, leaving my apartment. I would only leave my apartment to get food, go to the gym, go to work, come back. You know what I mean? So I was very much a homebody. Yeah. So because you probably reached out at that point, I was like,
sure.
Yeah, I'll do anything. You know what I mean? You want me to come just hang out at your apartment? Sure. You want to come? You're inviting me to this party? Sure. You want to take me to this networking event? Of course. You know what I mean? I was kind of like in a place where I was like looking for more friends, and I guess I found it. So appreciate you for inviting me.
Of course, man. And you see how just one invitation just opened a whole new like world.
Yeah, a whole new world because you invited me to John's party, then we then got closer, and then you invited me to the IM party. And the IM party, I've met so many amazing entrepreneurs, business owners that I would not have met otherwise. Yeah, so just being around those people, it's truly inspiring.
100%. And I think that's also like super solid for like all the like the viewers like listening in, because the reality is people don't realize how sometimes like life wants to help you win.
Mm-hmm.
Like it wants to give you the key. It wants to put you in these rooms where you can truly change your life.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta have the courage to actually just jump, just do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If somebody invites you, just say yes. What's the worst that can happen? You
You
go
have a
there,
bad time.
yeah, and an hour of your life is gone. Yeah, cool.
But then you have a story. Yeah, this weird guy I met, Imad.
Thank you.
He invited me to this weird ass party, and then I had the worst. You know what I mean? You have a story.
People
from
naked
that
around, running
Yeah.
around. You're like, wait a minute, what? Yeah, I just went
It's not
down
what
south.
I signed up for. But yeah. So let's take a step back. I want to give the people who don't know who you are, give them the opportunity to learn a bit about you. So give us a 1 to 2 minute, background, who you are, what you do. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, just short and sweet. I basically help businesses scale their back end product to 7 and 8 figures. And what does that mean? Basically, I'm a client retention specialist. One of my biggest beliefs is if you want to build a 7-figure business, have a good product, have good marketing. If you want to build an 8-figure business, have a good product, have good marketing, and then also have great client retention. Because the only way you can do it is by keeping your clients. And I think that's one of the big things where I've kind of like found the secret of like how to keep clients on board, but also how to constantly sell them new things to help them elevate in their business, personal life, fitness, whatever kind of like at least their needs are in that moment. So yeah, man, started off as a relationship coach, transitioned into sales coaching, and now I'm basically a fractional COO for multiple companies. So I get in, I find the protege or like the right hand that I'm going to be using in that company, and I teach them everything they need to know to build this company to where it needs to get to, and then I leave. One of the things I always tell to my clients is like, I'm not a full-term relationship. I'm a one-night stand, but I'm a really long one-night stand. All right, give me 3 months and I'm out. That's my goal. I want to be out by 3 months. If I stay a little bit longer, then, ideally not what I want, but yeah.
So how did you get into that? Because that's not just something you can just start doing. You kind of have to build the skills. You have to do the dirty work to understand business at a high level, understanding what pieces need to be put in place in order to build whatever certain system that you need, right? So how did you kind of get into that space? What prompted you to move in that direction?
Well, dude, I think so I actually never wanted to do that. And it's kind of funny how like it kind of fell into my lap and I was just good at it. So what I mean by that is, so initially I started off as a relationship coach. This is before I knew the high ticket industry existed at all. I was working for a company, and I was, I think, making like $25 an hour, which might sound like a lot for some people here, but the reality is that $25 I was getting maybe one client a week, which is like an hour.
Yeah.
So I was making maybe like $300 a month at most, and that's like a good month.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that you could make money being like a relationship coach or like coaching people on how to find, love. And then I think then when COVID hit, I ended up discovering like high ticket closing or high ticket coaching. And I realized people were paying $3,000, $4,000, upwards to even $20,000 just to get a specific service. This was all new to me, and I didn't really know it was legit. So I was kind of like skeptical in the beginning, but then I saw the ads consistently over and over again. Yeah, dude, coaching is $1 billion industry. It's this. I'm like, oh yeah, I don't see that.
Yeah, it would,
you know what I mean? How many $25 an hour clients do you need to get? Like you know what I mean? To get $1 million. And then I think one day I just cracked and ended up just taking my money and spending like $12,000 on like a course.
Sheesh.
Yeah, I just like went all in.
Yeah.
And I'm in there in the course for like 3 weeks. And this girl has been there literally. She started off with me, never coached a day in her life, made $30K in her first month. And I'm like, wait a minute.
How did that happen?
Yeah, it's like for me, it's like I'm living in New York. I made $19,000 for a whole entire year, basically dirt broke, have nothing.
Yeah.
This girl comes in a month, does exactly what I've been doing, and makes $30,000, and I'm like, that's wild.
Yeah.
And then I realized, there was a lot of potential. And that course taught me a lot about building businesses and just kind of building like the webinar funnel, building like VSLs, building kind of landing pages, and just kind of give me like the very basic knowledge of like, all right, what digital marketing is. I took that information and then I went to the company that I was working with and I struck a deal. And I was like, how about I help you build all these things? I start closing for you. I start helping with your funnel. I start building the content. I start doing all this stuff in exchange for just more more money, and then potentially even part equity. She didn't have anybody at the time. I was her right hand. I was basically doing everything, like in terms of coaching. Most of the success was were my students. So she said yes. So basically what I did is I ended up building her business to 6 figures on her dime. I didn't have to spend anything. And that was the initial start of me building kind of my experience and kind of like failing. And then once I built her business 6 figures, then I ended up starting my own business, dating coaching business, and I built that at 6 figures. Did really well. I had a lot of executive clients, like people that were working for Google, Facebook, LinkedIn. And one of them came to me one day and was like, dude, man, like, so my relationships are a lot better now. I'm dating. Can you use this stuff on sales with, like, you know, your team or whatever? And I'm like, I mean, yeah, pretty sure. I'm like, just do this, and just tweak this. And I basically helped him with his, like, sales process for Google.
Wow, so just a random conversation led to...
Well, he ran a department, and that department, I think I helped him in that quarter. I helped him like go up by like 0.0001%, which in Google term is like multi-millions.
Yeah, a lot of money.
And he made a killing, and he was like, "Dude, what you just like changed the game for us. You did this, and I was like, "Okay, but I also just paid. I just charged you like $5,000 for my relationship coaching package."
Yeah,
and I'm like, I could have easily charged you like $20,000 or $30,000, and that's when I transitioned to like sales coaching. Started doing that here and there, and one of the people that I trained ended up putting me with one of the biggest sales companies in the space. I don't want to name names, but basically they run some of the biggest sales teams for all the biggest names in the space.
So let's go back a minute.
Yeah.
Did you have any sales experience prior to doing that sales training? Like, other than, you know, trying to sell clients into your own dating coaching business?
Yep. So initially, I mean, in high school, I sold solar panels. And in college, I sold vector marketing, Cutco knives.
So you've been a salesman.
Yeah.
You're not new to this.
Yeah.
Okay.
I paid my dues. I did door to door. I paid my dues. I did what I had to do.
Makes sense.
Wasn't the best at it. I did decent. Did better than a lot of the regular, you know, average individuals. But I wasn't like amazing. It wasn't until like I think 2020 where I just really dove in and just studied all the sales process from all the biggest sales like people in the space. Then took a little bit of everything and then made my own process or made my own formula. That's what works with me.
Okay, so all right, so now continue on the story. So now you were dating coaching. You had this client who you were charged $5,000 for your dating coaching package. Yeah. He was like, "Can this apply to my sales teams?" And then you did that, and then he hooked you up with one of the biggest companies in the space. Yeah. Right. So where does that take us? What year are we in?
At this point, we're in 2021.
2021. Okay. And then take us through that.
Actually, no, we're in 2022. So, I mean, I can give you some more leeway before that. So, before I trained that sales guy, I had a client who was one of the biggest, I want to say, media buyers in the space. He's like top 5 media buyer, savage in the industry. I was his dating coach. I came in there. I helped him basically change his whole entire dating life. He had a lot of very like successful, powerful friends, and as soon as I helped him kind of change his dating life, he then basically just started shouting me out on Instagram, posting me out everywhere, and that's kind of really what blew up my reputation, where now everybody just kind of wanted to work with me because they saw the change that was happening with him. When that happened, and it's funny because the way I actually got him was we were at a conference. He was complaining about his relationship life, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm just like, and I go to him and I'm like, "Listen, man, at the point I'm still building. I'm like, I will give you my $5,000 course for free in exchange for your top closer on loan. Let me loan him to me for 3 weeks or like a month at most. And I'll give you my course for free." So my game plan with that was to get his closer to close for me, make some money, but then also give him value and be in his network and help him as much as possible and over deliver. Yeah. So then we can, you know what I mean? Yeah. Build from there. And that's exactly what happened. I got his closer. His closer made my money back within 2 weeks. Cake. He closed for me, worked out, and then I helped this guy, and when I helped him and we worked for 8 weeks together, we just did a lot of great work together to a point where I actually ended up moving in to their like mansion.
Oh,
And
wow.
coaching literally him and his friends on how to date. And I lived with him for like 6 months and was just learning a lot, just building my brand. Dude, crazy memories.
So, why does it seem like it's entrepreneurs and business people and these high-level business savages who need all the dating coaching? Like, what's going on?
Dude, man, I think making money helps in your relationships, but money doesn't change the root core of what builds attraction. All right. And I mean, money is one component of attraction, but the reality is still having a conversation. It's kind of like with men and women. It's like she can be the most attractive woman in the world, but she's going to get old. She's not going to look like that forever.
Facts.
And it's like once that runs out, then what?
Yeah.
Do you actually have fun with the person?
Yeah. Do you enjoy being around them?
Yeah. I mean, love and like are two different things. You know what I mean?
Facts.
I can love you, but I can also not like you. You know, ideally, I always think it's more important to like somebody than actually love them. And the reason for that is because when you like somebody, you're actually their friend. And I mean, I think the biggest BS in the space that everybody says is like, love is enough. I think that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Love is not enough.
I don't know if love is enough, but I'll push back on that. Liking is more than loving, because where my mind went was marriage, and I think that there's going to be seasons in marriage where husband might not like the wife, or the wife might not like the husband, but that doesn't mean that there isn't love there, and that doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with the marriage. I think that's just marriage.
Okay, so let's discuss. So would you consider like just like friendship?
I would consider like enjoying being in that person's company. There's a degree of friendship there.
Yeah.
There's wanting to do things for them, whereas like love is more, even if I don't like you, I still have your best interest at heart. I'm still trying to do what's best for you.
100%. And I think what I'm trying to get at is that I'm correlating to friendship. So it's like, if I don't like spending time with you, I don't like being with you, that the love is not going to be enough, because I feel like love runs out faster than like, in my opinion. After 2 years, statistically speaking, at that point, it's not love anymore.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, do I like spending time with you? Are we compatible? Do we enjoy each other's company? Do we laugh together? Do we just have fun overall? And it's like, yeah, I love you, but I'm bored. How can we spice it up? Because even like with your friends, like, I mean, you have best friends that, I mean, they annoy you, but doesn't mean you don't like them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Applies. And I think that was kind of one of the biggest things. I just want to have, where were we going with love and like? What was the whole? You lost me.
About, we're talking about entrepreneurs and how they're the daters, the people who need the dating coaching.
Yeah. So yeah, one of the big things I always see is just they try to, like, it's kind of like their looks are like their money. Like a man has money, a woman has looks, and they trade that for each other. But the reality is they don't know how to talk, they don't know how to communicate, and their value just stems from their money. And while, I mean, that's great, you can provide and protect, it's also not good, because now there's a disconnect within the relationship.
Can't keep them interested.
Exactly.
Beyond that. Yeah.
So then what's the point? It's like, yeah, you have all this money in the world, but you can't have a conversation with me. I'm having a really horrible day, but you can't talk to me. You're always talking about your money. You're always talking about yourself.
It's always about the business. It's always about,
what about us?
yeah, where do I fit into all this?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And also, you have to realize nowadays, there's a lot of guys with money. It's like, imagine if you have money, you're charming, you're somewhat decent looking, and you have a decent body. The wrap.
So would you say the things that you were coaching them on was mostly how to communicate, how to keep their interest, how to kind of be more than just your money, basically?
Well, I taught them how to be men. As crazy as that sounds, you know what I mean? There's more to being a man than just
having money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like responsibility, ownership, looking at vision, purpose. What's your story? What's your purpose? Why are you here? Focus on that and growth will come.
Since you mentioned that, what's your purpose? What do you believe your purpose is now? And how has that question evolved for you over the course of your career?
I mean, well, for me, my purpose is to take people out of suffering. And that could be whether in dating, whether in business, whether in health. The reality is I had a really tough childhood. And it's funny because whenever somebody talks about kind of their childhood, they choose one or two paths. All right. That pain could either make you a villain or a hero. The reality is, like, which side are you going? Are you going to stop people from feeling the pain that you felt? Or do you want everybody to feel the pain that you felt? And I think most of us in our lifetime, we usually steer to the villain initially. And some of us stay there. But then the ones that actually become self-aware within the process, they start going the other side. And I think it's kind of where I started. I started going in the villain side. I want everybody to suffer just like I did. And there's like a switch, a flip of you know what I mean?
What changed?
I discovered some very powerful books. So like I remember I discovered Abraham Hicks, Conversations with God. And then I discovered the Hermetic Principles. And these are all, and then which led me to like Buddhism, Taoism. And I really started learning ancient philosophies, just about peace, about self, about understanding growth. And that just opened a whole new like avenue. And I realized that, one, the happier that I was and the more at peace that I was, the more successful that I became. The more I gave back, the more I actually made more. You know, and all these small things didn't really come from business coaching. They came from like ancient texts that just told me how to be a good human being. So like what makes my coaching so like effective with the people that I work with is I train them through some of the teachings that I learned in the ancient texts. But nobody knows because I frame it in a way
that they can understand.
100%. You know what I mean? It's kind of like being detached from the sail. It's letting go. Let life take you where you need to go. Let it flow. That's literally the same thing as being detached from the sail. But the way I worded it is, you don't want the sail. You don't need it. Life is still going to go on. Same philosophy, but now I'm saying it in your language.
Selfish question. How can you, working with all these people and in a role kind of like dating coaching, and you're going to be you're going to probably share a lot of intimate moments, not intimate in that sense, but like intimate moments with that person. How can you get yourself to, you know, really care about every single client? Because I imagine that's not an easy thing to do in a high turnover business like that. Like you have to, I'm going to work with you for 6 weeks or 8 weeks and we're going to be damn near best friends by the end of this. You know, how can you mentally get through that process over and over and over and over and over again? So
I think for me, my biggest strength is my empathy. I'm very empathetic. And I mean, for what like the viewers are listening, a lot of people don't really understand what empathy means. And what I mean by that is empathy is putting yourself in somebody else's shoes, but really understanding their pain. The reason why I connect is because I connect on a level of shared pain, shared suffering. So when people tell me, oh, well, you don't get it. You don't know how it feels like to not have money. You don't know what it feels like to not have your family. You don't know how it feels like. I grew up by myself. My parents left when I was really young. I slept in Central Park for for a good chunk of when I was living in New York. I did everything on my own, and I had no sense of safety, no sense of security. I had friends that really cared about me and people that loved me, but the reality is I had no core sense of stability or safety. Like I can't go back if everything failed. I can't be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go back and live with my parents. I wish I had that. So when somebody's talking to me, I'm like, dude, I get it. But look at me. I made it.
I'm an example.
It's your excuse. And don't get me wrong. I'm not going to let you down. I'm going to be there with you. I'm going to support you, and I'm not going to let you fail if you don't let me.
Help me help you.
Bingo. That's all it is. You know, and I genuinely care. I mean, I go above and beyond for my clients. But also that's why my reputation is good in the industry, because it's like I like to give that good experience. You know?
So I want to switch gears a little bit. I know that for me especially, and from what I hear from more successful entrepreneurs than myself, entrepreneurship is kind of just journey of self-discovery, a journey of, you know, you bettering yourself every single day, every single week, every single year, right? Where are you in your process? What are your current goals? What problems are you currently facing with yourself? You know, what are you facing? What problems are you battling right now?
I think most of my problems right now are personal. And the reason why I say that is because I feel like I'm at a place right now where I've had pretty good success in my career. I've built my skill set. I know I can bring a lot of value to a lot of companies. And I know I can make a lot of companies a lot of money. I think right now what I'm battling is kind of like my own internal kind of like demons from growing up without my parents, even like with my relationships with my friends, relationships with my significant others, and kind of like differentiating between, is this self-sabotage or is this my need to want more in a person, which in turn is still self-sabotage.
Is it positive or negative is basically what you're trying to yeah.
Are these feelings real? And then, I mean, that's all subjective. I mean, they're real, but like, what's right and what's wrong?
Are they self-serving or are they not self-serving?
Exactly. And I think that's kind of what I've been really battling with recently, where I'm trying to take a step back and be like, all right, what is the quote-unquote right decision? But I don't know. You know? So, and it's been like a constant battle. Also, like, taking a step back and realizing, what is this? Is it all worth it? You've made the money.
Is what all worth it? Like,
everything.
all the sacrifice that you've made, everything.
Made the money, got the nice apartment, you got the
Fire
nice
apartment.
car. Yeah.
Yeah, he lives in the best apartment in Austin, Texas. The best apartment building in Austin, Texas.
Dude, it's wild.
It's pretty far.
Yeah.
It's being up there. I feel rich.
Going
to visit you, I feel rich.
Well, that's
I'm not, but I feel rich.
Bro, yeah, you are, bro. Stop.
Not yet. I'll speak it into existence.
That's it. You're rich, bro. You're rich. Own it.
Not monetarily, but in life,
so you're making it worse. You're making it worse.
In life, I am rich.
Dude, it's funny. Okay, so it's funny you say that because I remember when I was living, I was living in Journal Square or Jersey City.
Okay.
And I was living, dude, in the most like ghetto, like broken down, like, dude, it was like I would see like gangs just all around the block.
Doing whatever they're doing. Yeah.
Exactly. But I had a good relationship with the gang. Like the kingpin, dude, he loved me. He respected me. I respected him. I never I would just, I didn't see anything. I'm always walking. I'm like, yo, you do your own thing. I got you. I'm out of this.
Yeah.
But what's funny is when I was living there, I would literally walk from that area to the nicest area in Jersey City, which is like Hoboken, where you can kind of see New York City on the other side.
Yeah, you can see the skyline.
Yep. And I would go there every single morning to make that walk, and that walk was about 8 miles. Every morning, I would do it. You know what I mean? It's like when your parents tell you, when I was young, I would walk 8 miles to go to school and all.
Uphill both ways. You know, it was snowing every time in January. It was snowing in June. It was,
some crazy story. But, so I would walk 8 miles every morning, and the reason why I would do it is because that was my therapy. I would be listening to my podcast, listening to my manifestation stuff. I'd be just vibing, listening to good music, just feeling good. And I would walk there, and I would just sit there and look at the skyline and be like, yo, one day I'm going to be on yachts. One day I'm going to do all this. And I would just stand there, literally with my hands behind my back and just looking at the skyline. And then I'm talking to my landlord, and he mentioned this, and he was like, well, dude, that sounds like a very psychological walk. Like, what do you mean? He's like, well, you are basically going from rags to riches every single day.
Like physically. You're physically undergoing that process.
Yeah, he's like, you're walking every day. And what's crazy about it is I would come home at night. It would be like midnight, but before I go to sleep, I put my headphones in, I close my eyes, and I would play this playlist that I had that would just make me feel like I'm on top of the world. And I would dance like an idiot in my room, but I would dance like an idiot pretending to be like in my mansion, in my apartment, and I would just feel it. I would feel like when the beat drops, it's like a party's happening at my house. You know what I mean? And it's crazy. I'm just like this idiot running around by myself with my headphones in. No one can hear the music. So it's like, what is he doing? And the reason why I actually chose that apartment was because when I actually got to that apartment building, there was the way I was standing looking at the outside of basically outside of my office. And I remember standing up there with my hand behind my back and just like appreciating the view and being like, yo, this is it. And when I was touring the apartment building, I went into the theater room.
Yeah.
And as soon as I walked in the theater room, there was a whole entire view. And somehow, my hand went behind my back, and it was the same exact position, the same exact vision I saw 4 years ago. And I just got goosebumps, and I was like, "This is it."
Yeah, and that was like the first apartment you toured too.
Yeah. First one, I was like, "Yeah, this is it." And I went to see the other place, and that ruined my expectation for everything else. But this is why I say it's kind of like I knew I was rich before I became rich, and it just kind of followed. So you're rich. Moral of the story.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. I want to get into some advice that you might have for your former self. So I want you to give advice to two past Imads. I want you to give advice first to the Imad that just before you decided to make the change in your life, just before you started going down this journey, and then at another point when you were maybe a few years into it, in the thick of it, in the grind, maybe had a lot of sleepless nights, maybe I don't know what everything that you might have had to give up at the time, but give yourself advice at the point when you started and then when you're in the thick of it. What would you say to yourself?
Yeah. So initially when I started, the biggest thing I would tell my younger self is do things for free. Okay. And I know that might sound counterintuitive, but most of my success came from actually working as an employee for an 8-figure company. Like, I saw everything 2020 moving forward after I left that company.
And you got to learn on other people's dime.
100%. And I didn't do that enough with enough successful companies starting off. So I was learning from people who also didn't know what they were doing. Yeah. So I wasn't really growing. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until I actually started learning from people that were actually doing what I wanted to do and doing it at the highest level that I actually was able to like scale my business to the next level. I could have saved myself 3 or 4 years. And again, don't be arrogant. Oh, I got to get paid for my value. Bro, you don't have value. Sit your ass down. Like, you don't have anything. Stop trying. Like, it's like, have you made money? Well, no. Well, why are you asking for money then? You haven't developed a skill to make it. Mm-hmm. Be humble. Like, if I can go back, I would literally work for a successful company for 3 months for free. And I would tell them, hey, teach me everything you know. Connect me to the people. I will work for you for free. And if after those 3 months you're not satisfied with what I give you, we'll go our separate ways. If you are satisfied and you want me to work more, we can discuss compensation or what the next steps are. And in that moment, you just over deliver. Fulfillment is everything. And I don't think people realize how important it is to over deliver on the promises that you give. It's so crucial. And even though I've always over delivered, I always tried doing it by myself, and that was the stupidest thing I could have ever done, and I wasted so much time.
Too prideful to ask for help.
Well, I don't want a 9 to 5, but right now technically I'm working a 9 to 5, which just doesn't make sense. But the 9 to 5 is running a successful business, and it's not even 9 to 5 because I'm working at 11 at night sometimes. You know what I mean? So it's these stupid things that we were raised with and we were taught, and we're like, yeah, stay away from a job, when sometimes working for the company of your dreams is technically still a job.
Yeah, and you have the perfect work-life balance. You have your everything on paper is perfect. It's just it is a 9 to 5. It's just like, nah.
Yeah, it's not for me.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, if you do it right, you can have all the time in the world to get off. If you kill your numbers, I don't think your boss is gonna say, "Oh no, I want to go on vacation." If you've already broken all the records you could possibly break, and people don't look at it like that, you know. So that for me is massive. And then the second part is like, what was
when you were a few years into your journey, you already made the decision to change your life. You're on the journey to becoming the person that you are today. Yeah. You're in the thick of it. You might have hella sleepless nights. You're in the middle of the grind every single day. Maybe putting in a lot of work and not seeing the fruits of your labor. What advice do you give to that version of Imad?
Be patient. Everything I've wanted, I've gotten. And I've done it in 4 years. Just crazy. But 4 years after I started investing in myself. 4 years after I started holding myself accountable and being disciplined. 4 years after I had specific habits that were changing my life. Everybody talks. Nobody actually follows through. In those 4 years, I followed through at the highest possible level. And now I'm reaping the rewards. And at this point, I mean, yeah, I have problems. They come to me. But they don't affect me like they used to. Because it's not like problems get easier or life gets easier. Your scars just heal better.
You get better at dealing with them. I like the advice about being patient. I feel like for a lot of people it can be daunting to be patient, but one frame that my mind goes to, and this is from Hermosi, who I know you're familiar with. He likes to operationalize words, and he just likes to get you in a mental frame where you understand what you're actually trying to do. So being patient is just doing something in the meantime, right? So I have investments in the stock market right now, and currently, technically, while we're having this conversation, I'm being patient because I'm not actively on my phone trying to sell it or mess up any potential gains that I could by just being in it, right? So I'm technically being patient by not thinking about it, by not actually working on it. You know what I mean? So finding your things that you can do to kind of take your mind off of the fact that you might not have an output. You're doing all this input, you're doing all these things to generate some future return, but you're not realizing that return right now. Just find something else to do in the meantime to take your mind off it, because it will come as long as you keep focusing on doing the inputs, as long as you keep focusing on posting YouTube video every week, or
it's the boring stuff,
running ads, or doing automated outreach, or whatever it is that you need to do in order to grow your business or to see that the fruits of your labor. Just do that and focus on the inputs rather than the outputs.
No, it's true, man. And it kind of goes back to what you were saying about being patient. Just do the boring work. Boring work sucks, but it's the thing that's going to get you to where you need to get to.
And it's funny because I know you're familiar with Cody Sanchez as well, about buying businesses. Her whole thing is buying boring businesses. Car washes, laundromat, things that are so boring that you're just like, wow, you will own a laundromat? Why would you? Like, things that are so boring but like essential that people will always use. Those are the businesses that are going to make millions a year. Those are the businesses that are going to change your life.
You have one vending machine that makes you like what, a couple of $1,000s a month, and then you have 20
different locations. You might also get in ATMs, and then
So then what? You see what I mean? And it's like it's the compound. It's like you're building. You know, that's how you play.
Mm-hmm. So let's switch gears a little bit, as this is an AI channel. Okay. I do have to ask you some questions about AI. As a expert in building businesses, scaling businesses, and building back-end systems, how are you seeing in the industry AI being used in the most efficient way? How would you like AI to be used in your business? And what do you see people talking about when it comes to AI in the industry?
So for me, most of my AI experience is in the sales process. Okay. I have a couple of friends who are really using AI to like publish books, to copyright, write ads, all that stuff. Which I think is very, very effective. But I don't think it's at a place right now where it can replace, like phenomenal copywriters or phenomenal email marketers.
Agreed.
I think there's still like a gap. And then same thing applies for sales. I saw this viral like tweet where basically somebody was using an AI chat bot, but it's more of like, it was actually a setter call. Mm-hmm. And the only issue with it was just, I think, like 0.02 seconds slow to respond. So
there's like a slight gap, and a human can notice it.
100%. Yeah. It's like, hey, what's your name? Imad. And it's like that small gap takes the whole like human feel.
Yeah, and if there's 20 of those throughout a conversation,
it's not real.
You notice it.
Yeah. Because it's trying to register. But I heard that call and I was like, damn, it's asking some better questions than some of the people I've trained or some of the people I've seen in action, which is wild. And I think when it gets to a place where it sounds human and it's just free flowing, I think AI is gonna like disrupt a lot of industries. But I think, in my opinion, sales is gonna be the last thing to disrupt because it's the most complex.
Yeah, it's the human to human interaction, right? People buy from people they know. People buy from people they trust. People, like, they're not just gonna buy from a robot.
There's empathy, man. It's like, I mean, let's be real. Some of the biggest sales happen because you and that person might have went to the same high school, might have grew up in the same city, might have ate at the same pizza spot when you were younger, might have the same favorite pizza spot in the world, might have went to the same country. It's not, sales isn't just the product. It's the experience of getting the product. And it's like if the experience of getting the product is solid, it's easy sell. It's kind of like what I was telling you before. I was telling one of my friends about this where I wanted to buy my dream car. And I told the salesman, I was like, yo, I just don't want to feel like I'm getting screwed. That's my only concern. If you can make this process as seamless as possible and be honest and upfront with me,
$10,000 over.
yo, I'll take my money. I'm like, I will pay you whatever you want. But I just don't want to feel like I'm getting screwed. I want the best possible price that you can actually help me with, where we can both win. And be honest. You try playing games? I do sales. So I just kind of saw through it.
What is it like being sold to when you're a salesman yourself and you're such a high level?
Respect the craft. I will only buy from people that I like. I remember I was talking to this American Express sales rep, and I was gonna cancel my gold just to like exchange for my platinum, because I had platinum in the past, loved it, but I wasn't traveling as much, so I just kind of didn't want to use it anymore. And I went to gold, and dude, she like answered, like the way she broke it down was incredible. So I told her I was like, all right, I want to return I want to like cancel my gold so I can just have the platinum. She was like, oh, interesting, cool. Oh, here, well, a couple of things I just want to tell you before you cancel. So basically, I noticed you eat a lot out, and gold gives you a lot of points on eating out, while platinum gives you like travel benefits and all that stuff. I'm like, all right, interesting. And she's like, also, I see a lot of recurring subscriptions. And I mean, just talking to you, I know you sound like a very busy individual, and you don't really have time to do a lot of the stuff. So do you really want to go through and change your credit card on every single recurring subscription you have? And I had like 20. She's like, I just don't want you to have late fees. I don't want you to do any of that stuff. So personally, I mean, what? You're saving $250? Is it really worth it? And I sat there and I'm like, I like you. You broke it down. You took into account like what my concerns were. I just wanted to get off the call and just cancel it.
She did her homework.
Simple. Literally. And I was like, yeah, keep it. I'm like, honestly, I don't even need the car, but I just want to pay you because you gave me a great experience. You were so good at what you did, and you broke it down in such a seamless way where I didn't have to think. Yeah, you're good. She started laughing. But that's what I'm talking about. Like, I appreciate the craft. I love being sold to. But make it fun.
Yeah.
Like, I want to feel like I'm learning in the process. Like, oh, wow, you're good. But if it's the same cliche bullshit where you're just trying to, like, take my money and you're doing it at a very, like, rookie level. And again, if you're still new, I understand. I'm not going to be like an asshole about it. But, like, I want to have fun throughout this process.
Do you play with them a little
100%.
bit?
100%.
You'll, like, ask specific questions. You'll, like...
I want to see how to deal with objections. When I was selling my sales, when I was selling, I used to sell a $24,000 product. And it was basically extra sales coaching, but how to be a sales manager. And it was like the upsell for the back end. And one of the guys was literally hitting me with some of the craziest objections. And then when I told him the price, he said, you're really good at the silent thing. Didn't say a word. And then he's, all right, let's do it. As soon as I swiped his credit card, immediately I'm like, of course I am. I'm trying to teach you how to be like this. But I didn't want to ruin the sale. Yeah. And then he started dying laughing. I'm like, bro, this is the whole point. I'm like, throw everything at me. I eat those for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Keep them coming. What else? I'll give you objections, throw at me. You know? There was one thing. This is actually an objection I want to do. I thought about it when I was training my team last week, where somebody's coming on a call, and they literally hit me with an objection, and I will literally pull up the script and be like, hold up, what was that again? Spouse? All right.
Give me a second.
Yeah. Sir Brandon, is your wife, and I'd read it as robotic as possible. Hey, I'm just getting my practice. I mean, I just get these objections all the time. I just want it. And let me know if this works. But making it fun and making it playful, I think it could do some serious damage, bro. You know?
I mean, honestly, I feel like that's like challenging yourself. That's like, it's too easy, so you need a little bit of a challenge to keep making the sale.
Yeah.
Before we end, I want to talk about your current mentorship. What is it? A mentorship group? Not mentorship group, but is it one-on-one mentorship coaching for high-level entrepreneurs? How do you talk about that? Tell us about it.
So honestly, I actually built this mentorship strictly on demand of people that have worked with me in the past. A lot of people, I have a group, like a WhatsApp group with a couple of the like closers I've trained in the past that I have good relationships with. I just keep adding people in there that I've helped have insane results. And they're all parts of programs and mentorships and everything. And a lot of their stuff was coming to an end. So what's funny is they would reach out to me and be like, hey, do you have any coaching programs? Do you have anything coming up? And I'm like, no, I don't. He's like, no, like, please, can you just give us something? And I heard it so many times. I had one guy pester me 5 times. I'm like, fine, I'll give you something. I'll create something out of the blue just to help you.
Yeah, just for you.
Yeah, just for you. And then he ended up telling his friends, and then the people in the group were like, dude, why is he getting it? Why aren't we getting it? But it's crazy because it's like people are begging me to pay me. They want to work with me for that reason.
Take my money,
yeah.
please.
And I'm sitting here and I'm like, I don't want your money. But they're like, find a way to take our money. So what I realized is a lot of closers are really, really good at closing, but they're very expendable within companies. And I think what made me really stick out in the industry was I was a really good coach and I was also a really good closer, and I can do both. It's like the offense and the defense. And the part that a lot of people struggle in, or closers struggle in, is the defense part. They don't understand operations. They don't understand SOPs. They don't understand how to run successful businesses. And because of that, there's a massive disconnect. So if they get let go as a closer, they're kind of screwed. Yeah. So basically, I created this like 6-month mentorship for them where they can come in, and I will literally train them on how to like run businesses, run offers, understand SOPs, understand fulfillment, understand backend, understand company structures, values, org charts, like just basically a whole like MBA on demand. And what's interesting is like one of my good friends told me, and I will never forget this. I thought he was crazy in the beginning when I was younger, but now it all makes sense. He said, the one piece of advice to make millions in this space is to build an offer for the lazy and stupid. He's like, people are lazy and stupid. He was like, if you can build an offer to satisfy that need, you will always be a millionaire.
That's so true, because all the videos in the business and entrepreneurship space that go super viral are like the easiest way to make 10K a month, or the laziest side hustles that, you know what I mean? It's literally marketed towards being easy and not time consuming.
100%. Just push a button and make me money.
Yeah. Click this, $1,000.
Yeah. So, and that's kind of what I did with my course, where basically I just gave him everything laid out, all the documents, all the systems, all the structures. And I'll be honest with you, I wasn't even actually like, this was very like private beta just for people. If you're my friend, I didn't want to pitch to the public because I don't want to be a coach who teaches coaches how to be coaches.
Yeah.
I don't really care for that. But if people want to come and learn, amazing. I won't say no. You know. So, and if they want to find me, they can find me at Imad Speaks and get more information about that.
Anything that you want to plug?
Yeah, just the course. Just if you want to follow me on Imad Speaks. That's IMAD and then Speaks. I'm assuming you're gonna have the.
Yeah, I'll have all the information in the description below.
But dude, other than that, man, I mean, dude, again, I'm super pumped to see where this goes, man. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, bro.
Oh, I never finished the story, so I had to earn the interview. So we did meet playing soccer.
Yeah.
I covered that. We play on a Sunday league team together. And so I asked him on a Saturday, hey, can you do this podcast? It was last week Saturday. And he was like, only if you score tomorrow. So I had to earn the interview, and I ended up scoring a hat trick. So I scored 3 goals, got 2 assists, and he was like, yeah, I'm a man of my word, and he showed up. So I really appreciate it. Thanks for coming, bro.
Of course, brother.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.